So they'll be calling you a radical. This is a real important video. Holdren's broke his silence and done a fucking interview. I've reached out to the interviewer, tried to get more details, see if I can get lying through his teeth. Now he's at Harvard. Now remember, he was head of the science and technology team when the greatest cover-up in human history was orchestrated. The cover-up of Fukushima. She asked him. Now, he gives this little cheesy lie answer. Doesn't even really go on anything. Now remember, he's at Harvard. While he's at Harvard, I'm right there in a bone marrow transplant center, given too much to live, fighting for my fucking life. I know what went on. This is important because of the USS Reagan. Well, it's important because of the collapse of the Pacific. Now, before I get to this interview and this ladder, just shows you how weak and how horrible journalism is in the United States. Here he is right there. Now, I've tried to interview these people. You see me go at them, or they're not going to touch me with a 1,000-foot pole. But it just shows you what the cover-up is in detail. Now, he goes on this tirade, calls Trump every name in the book, calls him a liar. So, I mean, just, I'll tag what he said. He very short on his Fukushima lie. Wouldn't talk much about it. I've reached out to her, see if she's got more details, see if she can get back to me. And, but he goes on a tirade about Trump. Now, think about this. Maybe the greatest liar in human history, calling Trump, which, now, I'm no fan of Trump's. Don't get me wrong. I mean, his bromance with the the kingpin on the Fukushima cover-up. Now, hear me. This is really important. The salmon collapse in Alaska is going in earnest right now. It is getting incredibly scary. Now, hear me. On the Archer, on the Kenai Peninsula, they had 5 today, 1 yesterday, 0 the day before. That's what you heard me right. This is the prime week right now. I mean, it's redlined down. Now, hear me out. This is really big news on the copper. The copper showed up so late. I mean, so far behind, just horrible numbers. They're well over half. They're 60%, 65% into the run for the year. They've got 230,000 for the, so now it's just dropped off a cliff. I think they had 3,000 yesterday. The 10-year means like 18,000. And I mean, it looks like to me it's already peaked and it's over. If that's the case, you're talking an economic, ecological catastrophe unforeseen in the history of the state of Alaska. Now, listen, these little small reactors in what's going on in Oregon. Now, we have boots on the ground. I have an army up there. No one's catching shit. And this is the first time where when we do see anything caught, they're tiny. We've never seen salmon this size. And this is, like I said, I have boots on the ground who's been with me from day one. But this story in Alaska is, whoa. So all you Trumpettes, this is important. You know, maybe we can get something under Trump's skin with this. You know, maybe we can get somewhere with Fukushima. He's called, I mean, you're listening. Now remember, John Holdren was the head of the science and technology team when Fukushima happened. Now I know what happened in this situation. I have a copy of it. Can I forward it? No. I've run it by multiple attorneys. Can I link it? No. I could dance around it because do I know for a fact it is? No. But I think it is. I mean, just like when I had Hillary's emails and I read them. Now, I have I have a lot of stuff. But, you know, I'm not going to let them try. Just think, if they put me in prison, then what do you got? You know, think about Harvard. Now, stay with me. I'd be the first guy in Trump Towers with Trump. Black out the windows, the first one, for a Japanese PM to come to the United States. And remember, he announced finally he's going to come during the Obama administration. Now, hear me out. Holdren's teaching at Harvard. Heyman and Ortiz, who killed Aaron Swartz, Harvard. Now, stay with this, connect these dots. Now, I knew Aaron Swartz, and as you know, I'm involved with Anonymous. I'm the guy that invented the Million Mass March. Me and the Boston boys, me and some kids from Boston invented that. You know, John Anthony and his cousins in the group. That's how we did it. Who did it? Now, hear me out. So a bee comes to the United States. This is for the first time. This is long before this bromance, before Trump and the orchestration. So it comes to the United States. Big deal. Big deal. Lots of protests from the Philippines, China, everybody. Major deal for a Japanese was. Where does he go? He goes to Harvard. Now, stay with me. This is real important. Where does he sneak over to unannounced? MIT Media Lab. Now, MIT Media Lab, isn't that where Aaron Swartz freaking downloaded all the PhDs And I've got news for you. The Aaron Swartz freaking death is plumb full of Fukushima cover-up. Aaron Swartz died on January 11th, 2013. The first trip I got out of the bone marrow transplant center. I was given 2 months to live in. It's going to give you leukemia. It's going to give you leukemia. I was given a death sentence in October of 2011. I was going through some of the old videos, the misdiagnosed. How I'm alive is beyond. This, how I'm alive is a miracle on a miracle. And by the way, thank you to everybody who supported this historic work. Now listen to me. So the first trip I take, my daughter says, well, you know, I want to go to New York and see my friends. I want to go to Brooklyn and see my daughter, blah, see these people. You know, my anonymous crowd. So I wanted to go see. The only time I broke down in this fight in 7 years, and I completely broke down like no other. I've never broke down like this in my life. Not even when my father died, not even when Annika died. I completely lost it. I'm like, I'm going to die. And it was January 11th. I didn't know that Aaron Swartz had just hung himself, or was hung. 35 years for downloading. This is all the cover-up of Fukushima. Now, I've reached out to this girl. Holdren's got a lot of fucking nerve. He calls Trump every fucking day. Now remember, John Holdren wrote his PhD on eugenics. He's Berkeley. I know who he is. I know what... Look, the greatest crime in human history. The greatest... I know who they are, and I saw what they fucking did. Now, it's unarguable now. Now, the USS Reagan has been ruled to go forward. 32 ships. It's been ruled by the California Appellate Court to go forward. Fucking... almost a year ago. Where's the fucking date? I was at the Swartz building. They're working on... Oh, God, what a dog and pony show. You know, I've reached Edwards and those guys won't talk to me anymore. You know, 32 ships sent in there. They sent them in as a rescue mission. That's unarguable. It's unarguable, and this is not classified. I mean, you can come after me for classified, but it's not. Because the Admiral stuck with it. The Admiral stuck with it and says, yes, we sent it in. We wanted all 800,000 military personnel evacuated and civilian personnel evacuated. Now, Rachel's data that I did in San Diego, really important. It's really important stuff. You know, I know everybody's turned on me, whatever. I don't give a shit. I'm recording history. And the only method I have, because nobody's going to talk to me. Nobody's going to do anything with me. So, now I'll post this interview. You guys can go through it. She asked him, what about when Fukushima happened? You know, in Obama. And he gives a panty painter fucking smooth over nothing answer. He gives a nothing answer. But then he goes on a tirade about Trump, calls him the biggest liar, misogynistic, I mean, just every name in the book. Now think about this guy. This guy probably is key in the orchestrating of the greatest crime in human fucking history, the cover-up of Fukushima. Now, this salmon collapse, why? Because salmon go to sea for 5 years, Chinook. The salmon started to collapse on cue in 2016. Now, Holdren's a moron, by the way. He's a douchebag, big-time piece of shit. Now, remember he made his big bet in 1980 when he was a young, arrogant asshole writing his PhD, and he was starting to be a muck-muck, connected piece of shit. And he bet everybody about the price of gold and silver. And he got it dead fucking wrong. Everything he says is dead wrong. So, all you Trumpettes, really? Get this to Trump. Get this to Trump. Really, Trump? You're going to let this fucker attack you? This is the kingpin of the science and technology team under the Obama administration when the greatest ecological catastrophe in human history happened, Fukushima. And we know what they did. They did nothing. Of course, so do you. So you Trump, this is our chance. Get this to Trump. Get this to Trump. He called him everything. I mean, talk about the fucking kettle. I mean, rats fucking eating rats. I mean, who the fuck do, I mean, this piece of shit. Now, I've reached out to her. Holding it now. I mean, I am a walking, talking encyclopedia. I have so much information. I can't believe people aren't sitting down talking to me. I have stuff that I can't say. I won't. I mean, I don't know. I'm on the line. You know I've got on the line lots of times. But I predicted this all to a fucking T, and I know what happened. And we know what happened. Holdren, all 5 Joint Chiefs staffs, Holdren fucking made him stand down. It was Holdren. Holdren covered for the nuclear industry. That's who propped him up. He's a Cal Berkeley guy. Let's get real. I mean, that's who he is. Obama was propped up. They covered for the nuclear. Now, by the way, they just doled out a bunch of money into the Trump budget to these little reactors, and I'll put up another video on that. It's outrageous. A little nukey never hurt no one. Yeah, but a little nuke killed everyone. he's a eugenicist. So you read this and you tell me this this Alaska salmon collapse is the biggest fucking story on earth that no one's talking about. It is a catastrophe. I'm telling you. I'll post the numbers. You can go to my Facebook page and look at the fucking graphs if you want to. I mean, off the fucking hook. I'll put up another video. But so get this. I'll post this to, you Trumpettes. I mean, really? This fucker's going to go out. Listen to this rant. I mean, read this fucking rant, what he says about Trump. And think about, this is probably the greatest criminal that ever walked the face of the earth. One of them. Obama, him, all of them were flown out of the country. Jeffrey Melt, the greatest fucking worst CEO. And I would say this about CNBC and Kramer and these rats. Still grandstanding when Dow gets kicked. I mean, think about the irony of right now. What's going on? G kicked out of the Dow after 110 years. This nuclear energy crime syndicate that Holdren supported and still fucking supports, and he's at Harvard with the same people that killed Aaron Swartz. 35 years for what? For what? I'm telling you, I knew Aaron Swartz fucking personally, and I'm telling you, I invented the Million Mass March. I know those guys personally. It ain't over. You think it's over. So I've reached out to her, but let's get this to Trump. He's going to let him call this fucking everything. Maybe Trump can fucking make a statement about Fukushima. He's covered it up, gone along with the beast so far, but you're going to let this fucking lying fucking Obama cover up the greatest fucking crime in human history? Stay tuned.